This week, we've got some good ones, and your family's gonna love them. Hey friends, my name's Susan, and welcome to my home. This week I will show you 4 of the recipes we had this week for dinner. What's for dinner? Lots of good food, that's for sure. So let me get this ponytail up, and let's get to making some amazing food. So come on, let's get to cooking. And tonight we're going to try some Cajun butter bourbon steak. I have got a New York strip Angus beef steak, which I'm going to basically cut this up into strips so Danny and I can eat. I've got some brown sugar. I've got a little bourbon. I've got some minced garlic. For the Cajun spice, that is, I'm going to mix some Slap Your Mama and some Zatarain's Creole. Because the last time I used just Slap Your Mama, it got a little bit spicy. So I'm going to do a little bit of both mixed. A little olive oil, some salt, some mustard, some dark soy sauce, which I've got some tamari that I need to use up, and a little bit of butter. And I believe that's about it. I'm not going to use the red pepper flake because you know Slap Your Mama is spicy enough. And I do have some black pepper that I'm going to be putting in there. Other than that, let's go ahead and get the spices on the steak so we can start with the rest of the ingredients for tonight's supper. I've got this beautiful steak out of the wrapper, and it is beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and put some of the different Cajun seasonings I've got right here on the steak. A little bit of the Zatarain's Creole and a little bit of the Slap Your Mama, and I'm talking just a little bit because this stuff is spicy, on both sides. That way this will be ready to go into the fridge and marinate while I mix up the rest of the wet ingredients for whenever I put it on the grill to fry it up. And let's go ahead and get the marinade, the wet marinade that is, ready for the steak. 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of the bourbon of your choice, or you can leave it out if you don't want any bourbon in it, but I'm hoping it'll give it some good flavor. I've got 4 garlic cloves going in, and I've got some olive oil going in next, dark soy sauce. I've got some grain mustard going in next, and I am going to mix a little bit of the Cajun seasoning in there, both of the kinds. That way it's not too front and center with the spicy one. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. That way it can make a great marinade for that steak. The instructions say to put the meat in and let it marinate for up to 30 minutes. I'm going to put it in and flip it halfway while the air fryer is heating up. And that's going to be all it's going to have, and then I can use some of this to brush the steak with later. Let's go ahead and get the air fryer started up, and then I'll flip this halfway while it's getting ready. The Ninja air fryer is ready to go. Let's go ahead and get this thing added in and get the steak started searing. I want you to hear this sear up whenever I put it on here. I love this thing. Let's go ahead and put it in, maybe 3 and 3 or 4 and 4. We'll see what we need. I'll bring you back when I take it out. And I've got the steak ready to come out. It is really good. I, of course, cut it in the middle. That way I could kind of tell what the middle is. That way I can make sure it's about a medium to medium rare, and it's looking really, really good. I have prepared some of the Cajun seasoning and put a little bit of butter in it. Or the Cajun mix, that is, the marinade mix, and put some butter in it and warmed it up. Now what you do is you either use a brush and brush it on, or it says to just pour it on, which is what I'm going to do. I've got it in a bowl. I'm going to go ahead and pour it on. And while this is resting for a few minutes, while I get the rest of the plates ready, this, oh, smells amazing, guys. Oh, my whole kitchen smells so good right now. But let me go ahead and get the plates ready, and we're going to dig into some great steak. And here you go. Steak, some beef rice, and of course pinto beans. And they are absolutely lovely. And if you don't try anything else from this week, you have got to try this steak. The best steak I have ever ate. Even Danny was raving about this. Your family will love this. We're going to make some super quick, easy chicken tacos in the oven tonight. Now, I have got a couple of these small taco shells. They are flour. I'm going to go ahead and spray them down with a little bit of avocado oil, and I'm going to flip them over and get the other side sprayed down with a little avocado oil also. Okay, now these are ready for some meat to be put inside of them, and I'm going to start with that one right there. I have, of course, gotten a rotisserie chicken that I am going to use the chicken out of. Now, the first thing you do is put down a little bit of cheese on each of the shells, which I'm going to do one at a time, or at least this first one to show you how it's done. Put a little bit of cheese, a little bit of chicken on the shell. Oh, Buddy got him some that time. He's like, "Ooh, Mama, thank you. Was that good, Bud?" He said, "That was good." Yeah, it kind of messed itself. I am going to put a little bit of taco seasoning on top here. All right. And a little bit more cheese on top of that. You want the cheese on each side, that way they can basically glue the shell to the shell. Like that. So let me go ahead and get the rest of these done and get them in the oven and get them cooking, because it's going to be a quick, easy supper. Oven is on 350. This shouldn't take 5-10 minutes tops. So I'll bring you back when I get them all out. And here's what they look like whenever you put everything on them. Nice little compact packet of goodness. They're crispy on both sides because I did broil them on both sides. And I've got some Mexican corn to go with them. So this is what's for supper tonight. And this was a quick meal that was really satisfying. So good, guys. You'll love it also. And tonight we're going to be making some easy pork and rice, cheesy pork and rice skillet. I've got some olive oil. I've got some sour cream. I've got some onion diced up, sharp cheddar, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, minced garlic, some mixed vegetables in the back, a cup of uncooked rice, 2 cups of chicken broth, and about a pound of, I've got pork chops basically, cut up into bite-sized pieces. And that's all you need for this recipe. So let's go ahead and get it in the pan and get it cooking. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. It is already heated up, so it shouldn't take it long. The next thing I want to do is put the pork in. Ooh, and that sounds good. And I do have it on the medium heat. I did have it a little hotter whenever I was heating it up, because it takes a minute for these pans to heat up. And I'm going to go ahead and saute this until it gets a little bit cooked. Or until it gets a little bit dunner than it is right now. And I've already browned a lot of the pork already. I'm going to go ahead and add in the half an onion that I have diced up and the 2 cloves of garlic into the mix, and go ahead and let that be cooking up. And this is smelling really good. The important thing about pork is not to overcook it. A lot of people will cook it till it is tough and it's hard to eat, and that's what you don't want. You just want it just done, because that is a perfect way to eat it. I'm going to go ahead and add in our uncooked rice, our Italian seasoning, it says peas and carrots, but you know me, I'm going to put in mixed vegetables anytime I can with Danny. He will eat these whenever he won't eat the peas and carrots by themselves, but he'll eat that. And the chicken broth into the skillet. Now, whoa, that's silented down quite a bit. I tell you what, those onions and garlic that I put in here smelled so good just a minute ago. I'm going to go ahead and stir this around to get all of the Italian season kind of dispersed amongst all the pork and all the vegetables, which is looking really good right now. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to go ahead and let this boil just a minute and then reduce it down and then let it simmer for about, it says 18 minutes. That sounds about right, but I've got to let it come to a boil first, and then I'll put it on a low and let it cook for at least 15 minutes. I think 18 might be a bit long, but it's looking pretty good so far. That'll get the pork chops nice and tender also. So let me bring you back whenever I add the last little bit of ingredients after this cooks for about 15 minutes. And here's what it looks like after about 15 minutes. It's looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and add the sour cream. There we go. And the cheese. You add in a little bit on top, and then you put the rest on the top after it's cooked. I'm going to go ahead and blend this around. The warmer the sour cream gets, the better it'll blend, along with the cheese. But this won't take but just a second to get all this blended up. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to press that little button down below and subscribe and ring that bell so you know whenever I put up my next video. Now I've got all of the sour cream and the cheese pretty much dispersed amongst all the rice and the pork. And it's looking really good and tasting amazing right now. The last thing is to put the cheese on top and then put the lid on so all the cheese can melt, and we'll have a nice cheesy bunch that we can have a good cheese pull with. So let's get the lid on this and let all this melt. And I'll let the cheese melt. Look at that. Let's get it in a bowl. And this is so good. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of sour, gosh forbid, you know I'm going to put some sour cream on it. And definitely, if you were wanting a great recipe, other than just doing the regular pork chops, this is it. Easy and taste amazing. I did add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, but other than that, I will be making this one again for sure. And we're going to make an easy, cheesy chicken spinach ravioli today for supper. I've got some cheese ravioli that calls for 20 ounces. I've got 25 ounces, and they are room temperature. I've got 2 cups of chicken, maybe a little more. It's what I had left over, so I'm going to use it. I've got some Parmesan cheese. You're going to be using about half a cup of that, and 1 cup of mozzarella. I've got some chopped spinach that I've already put in the microwave and let it steam. And I've got 1 15-ounce can of creamy Alfredo sauce. So let's go ahead and get everything mixed together in the pan, and then you will put it in the oven. And this is truly how easy this is. I'm going to go ahead and dump the ravioli into the bowl. And this is a smaller bowl than they used in the instructions, but I'm going to try to make it work because I don't think we need a big one. I'm going to go ahead and add in the chopped spinach into this, which this is 12 ounces of chopped spinach. And after putting those in, I kind of figured I might need the bigger container because it was getting a little bit full and I still haven't put the chicken in or any of the other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and try to lay it as flat as I can in the dish. Next is 2 cups of chicken that was a rotisserie chicken that I shredded up real good, and I'm just going to try to pull it apart and get it all mixed up with the ravioli, noodles, and the spinach. And then next goes half a cup of Parmesan cheese, the whole container of the Alfredo sauce is going on next. Like I said, I'm glad I got the bigger container because I really needed it. Yep, this is starting to fill this one up. And 1 cup of mozzarella cheese is going into the mix. Now I'm going to add some more mozzarella to the top so I can get it all nice and melted. And now this is ready to go in the oven. It is 375 for 20 to 30 minutes until it's your desired doneness, because everything's pretty much already thawed or almost baked, so it won't take very long, so 20 to 30 minutes. And I cooked it for 25 minutes on 375, and this is what it looks like. I'm gonna let it cool down just a little bit because it's still bubbling, and then we'll serve it up and eat us some good cheesy chicken spinach ravioli. And here you go. Chicken, spinach, cheese ravioli. Bake. And it looks amazing. Another amazing meal that you whip together in just a few minutes. You saw me put it together. It was almost real time. It didn't take long. The oven does all the work, and this was so good. I tell you, that steak, oh my gosh, you've got to make it. You just don't know. You've got to make it. And if you haven't already, press that little button down below and subscribe. That way you'll know whenever I put up a new video, and ring that bell. You know you want to see all the good recipes that I'm going to be making. Until next time, see you then.